do a lot of, or have done a lot of service in institutions and working with incarcerated populations. And I'm also a psychotherapist and a writer and somewhat of an activist. I've been influenced by a lot of different schools, but tend to stick to the original teachings, what the Buddha actually taught. I found in meditation what I'd always been looking for my whole life, which was just a kind of a sense of well-being, happiness, for lack of a better word. And I saw for the first time in my life that it was actually possible to choose what we pay attention to. My whole life I had spent not only addicted to drugs, but addicted to my own mind and whatever my mind told me to do. And, my mind had all kinds of crazy ideas about what I should do, like take lots of drugs and fight and steal. And out of my own pain and confusion, I was just so misdirected in this kind of search for happiness or freedom or So it was with meditation that I began to see, I don't have to do everything that the mind tells me to do. I can actually have a relationship to the mind through redirecting the attention to the breath and to the body, rather than just living from every desire and every fear and every pain and emotion that arises. I can actually relate to them rather than being motivated from them. And so that was an incredibly powerful and pivotal experience. Irreplaceable tool, training. I don't think there's anything that will transform our lives like sitting meditation, like the formal practice. But it's only a stepping stone. It's only in the service of bringing this kind of mindfulness and non-attachment and friendliness into everything we do in our life. We sit for an hour a day, or go on retreats and sit for many hours a day. But that's only, a part of life. We have so much of life when we're working and talking and relating to each other, that the point of spiritual practice is to transform our relationship to life. The formal practice on the cushion will do that in a way that nothing else will. But it has to be brought, integrated, engaged in everything that we do in life. It's really necessary for us to commit our lives to service, to compassion, to doing what we can to make some positive changes in the world, without the unrealistic expectation that we're going to change the whole world, without the unrealistic expectation that there will ever be peace on earth, that there ever has been peace on earth, or that there ever will be. Just kind of understanding that human beings are born with these minds and bodies that crave pleasure and turn into greed and hatred, that don't like pain and turn into hatred that turns into wars and oppression and tribal, mentalities. An acceptance that this is just the way human beings are. Most are completely asleep, completely addicted to their minds, creating more problems for each other and themselves. With that understanding that every single being has the ability to change, has the ability to transform their relationship and to wake up. Everyone has Buddha nature, this kind of innate possibility of awakening. That all that remains when we free ourselves from attachment is caring, is this source of compassion. Certainly based on the Buddha's life, free from all forms of confusion, liberated, free from suffering. 45 years he dedicates to serving, to teaching others as an activist against sexism, against racism, against war and oppression. 45 years, the natural outcome of his awakening was engaged activism. On the spiritual level, teaching people how to free themselves from suffering, and also on the activist level of teaching kings and warlords about karma and things like in a battle there's no winner. Both the winner and the loser both lose because they're both creating suffering for themselves. This radical approach of nonviolence and compassion and generosity. So there's been some examples of radical social, cultural transformations. But unfortunately, we live in a world where, kind of nonviolence isn't the norm. And almost every other religion teaches that violence is okay and justifiable and good. And, people have killed each other more in the name of God, of religion, than in any other name. And so, this is the situation that we're in, where people are killing each other and oppressing each other behind religious doctrine constantly. I don't see that that's going to change anytime soon. I'm totally committed to helping in any way that I can, much more on a sort of small individual basis than on trying to change the world. There's the story that I think of, and I teach a lot when I'm speaking about this to groups, of the little girl who's on the beach, and all of these starfish have washed up, and thousands of the starfish are washed up on the beach, and they're all drying out and dying in the sun. And she's out there picking them up one at a time and throwing them back into the water, trying to save them. And some old, person comes by and says, what you're doing doesn't matter. You can't save all of these starfish. They're, by the time you get down there, they're going to be dead. And she says, picks another one. She says, what you say I'm doing doesn't matter, but it matters to this one. And it matters to this one, and it matters to this one. And that simple story really, feels like how I relate to my work and to the work of social change. That we're not going to change, though. We're not going to save everyone. But it certainly matters to those who we connect with personally.